Manchester United 1, FC 21. Europa League starts with a bit of a whimper from Manchester United, doesn't it? I'm joined by Ronaldo, Brown and Nathan Ellington as well. I'll start with you, Nathan. Poor result. The performance, maybe not the worst we've seen in the last 12 months, but certainly it felt like a little bit of a step back today, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just one of them things where we're still working at what's our best team, what's our sharpest team, what's our most threat of a goal team. And Ten Hag's got some work to do to figure out which front three he's going to pick. Because I was just saying just now to you, Ronaldo, whichever team he picks, he's losing something and gaining something. And it's very difficult to choose which three are going to do the job. Yeah. And I just want to see what he does, because I can't figure out what is that team, that first three that I would pick that's going to do the job for us consistently on a weekly basis. I don't know. Ronnie,
are you looking at it from a personnel perspective? Are you looking at it from a confidence, mentality, managerial perspective? Just what happened on the night thing? What goes into a result like that?
So as a few minutes has passed from full time, and I start to think over the game in its entirety a little bit, the more and more annoyed I'm getting.
Go on.
Joe, in a sense of, I think you mentioned the stats of the shots, but just from an optics standpoint, watching that game, I thought FC Twente was sharper than us. I thought throughout the game they were first to loose and second balls. I thought they were braver in possession. I thought they were technically more secure. Yeah. And this is like a fourth-rate team in Eredivisie, and that wasn't far off our strongest starting lineup. So for me, that is a huge concern. And we did lack that cutting edge in the final third, and it's been an issue throughout the season, because for all that Xerxes brought in terms of his link play and this kind of difference that he has in playing style to Højlund, there's something with our attacking dynamics. And I don't know whether it is just a personnel thing, because I think throughout Ten Hag's tenure we haven't been a very high scoring team. So I don't know if that's the way that he platforms his players. Is there not enough movement patterns? Is it a little bit to make something happen in terms of there being like a strategy or people operate like occupying spaces more dangerously? I'm not sure what the answer is, because I looked at that. Rashford was probably our most dangerous and proactive player to begin with in this game. I thought he was really bright and he was sharp in the first half, and he looked like if we were going to get a goal from somewhere, it was going to be him. I thought Ahmad and Xerxes were a bit meh. They had bits and pieces, but there wasn't really that cutting edge from them. And then you have Eriksen, who his finish was absolutely brilliant, and he's played well recently. I thought today he was a bit of a passenger, not in the game too much, and he was a bit passive out of possession. And then I've got Ugarte, who doesn't look like a six to me. I think he's someone that you got to let loose to go and make challenges. He's almost like an 8 type, like someone that plays on the front foot, like a Kante. Yeah,
like a sort of Fred kind of.
Yeah, I thought exactly, like a Fred type. I thought the CB pairing were okay. I think the fullbacks were okay as well, but going away from personnel, because I was going to say that Mount and Højlund, I thought their cameos weren't that great either. I thought Garnacho tried a little bit. I thought Mainu offered a bit when he come on. But if I'm just looking at that from a standpoint of Ten Hag, United, performance against FC Twente at home, I thought that was miles away from the standard that it needs to be. And I think I've just got to call it the way it is.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you largely. I do think we were off the pace today. I do think you mentioned at the end of the watch-along, Nathan, about their goal came from us being very sloppy, not just with Eriksen. We'll get into the goal. So basically their attacker sprinted out from their right back area all the way into our half, knocking it past Bruno, knocking it past Rashford, going past Eriksen, going through Maguire as well. We're seeing it on the screen, obviously people at home aren't, going through everyone, and it takes Ugarte there coming across, sweeping up, doing really well, and then Eriksen just loses it. He just doesn't check his shoulder and it's gone. But the thing that leads to this as well is, look at the cover when Eriksen's on the ball. Because Bruno gets skinned, Eriksen gets skinned, Maguire gets skinned. Now and Ugarte's on the floor, now when he does give the ball away, it's basically a 3-on-1. Mm-hmm. So like the fact that he got through those 3 tackles in the first place meant everyone's pulled out the way. Now when you get the ball and Onana just lets him score at the near post, which I still don't understand. It was that run that caused the goal, because Eriksen's got no one to pass to, and when he does give it away, FC Twente is straight on us. And obviously there's a lot of things wrong there. In terms of the performance generally, it wasn't good enough. And I do think that the first half was pretty good. I thought we were the better team. I thought we maybe deserved to score a couple of goals in that first half, but didn't make tons of chances. And like you said, Ronnie, Twente are a team that no one in particular stood out as like electric, lightning, like watch out for him because he's going to kill you. But every single one of them had a composure and a calmness and a technical quality that were good.
That's why I said, if I look at that game, it's 1-1. We had more chance to nick it at the end. But I thought they were value for the draw. And what might trick people into thinking we ended the game strongly, as I said to you a couple of minutes ago, was the fact that there was that we're drawing 1-1 at Old Trafford. I thought, and then they kind of dropped back a little bit. They made substitutions. They got really defensive and pragmatic. And what it did is it invited pressure, and then we almost could have nicked it.
So you think if we were 1-0 up, they would have ended the stronger? Do you think?
No, no, it's not necessarily that. But I thought we finished strong because they kind of like got a little bit ultra defensive and thought we need to hold on to what we've got here. And I thought our quality started to show then, where we've got good players, because we do have good players at United, and we could have punished them for it, and I was gutted that we didn't, especially with this one here. It was a great save from the keeper. But I just think it's not like the worst performance in the world.
It's certainly not as bad as a lot last season.
But it was a very underwhelming one, and then it ends up being a very disappointing result at the end of it. And it's just how often we're going to be here and say that, really, because there were like bright bits of play, especially in the first half down the left, as I've said, with Delo and Rashford, and sometimes Xerxes was getting involved in that. And I thought, there might be a couple of moments here where we'll punish him and we'll go 2-0 up. And I thought when we went 1-0 up, I thought we needed that, because I think it was a little bit of a gut punch for him, but they reacted well to it. And I think we need to get that little bit of ruthlessness, that where we do finish chances, but also when we get in front, that we kill teams off. Yeah. Because even though we went into the half 1-0 up, I've always thought that they looked a little bit dangerous. If we started to sleepwalk, they had enough about them where they might cause you a problem, and that's exactly what happened. We never got out of first gear in the second half. I thought we came out very like lethargic, very languid, and they came out with this burst of energy, and they largely were the better team for the majority of the second half until like the last 5 or so, where they tried to hold on to what they had.
Tina Tellison Totoka says, sorry, I think it's a language translation. In effing hell, this isn't good form. This form isn't good enough by a mile. The form is, I think it's 2 wins in 6 in our last 6, which isn't good at all. Nathan Dock says 3 wins in 8, extending it even further. We can talk about should, would, or coulda. The results of last season are clearly following his 3rd year. DRS says, sorry Joe, we were improving and XG don't cut it anymore. I haven't said that tonight, have I? So, it's good thing to say, but you're responding to something I haven't said, which is interesting.
Don't let that rile you, Joe. Come on.
In terms of performances, obviously Eriksen doing an interview there gave the ball away. Do you think he was good tonight? Do you think he played his part, or is it maybe a stretch too far playing in 4 games in a row?
I thought his finish was brilliant. It's the quality that Eriksen does have, and that's why you've got players like this. They're capable of producing moments like that. But I thought generally, he's a bit of a passenger out of possession. He is, especially when you've got a pressing structure, especially when you're coming up against teams like this that are technically decent. And it's the fact that I'm saying this about a team from Holland, where, as Nathan said, they're always going to play football, Dutch teams, but they actually went long a little bit sometimes, and they were winning those duels as well. That was a concern for me. As an English team, or as a team in the Premier League, you should always have a bit of a physical advantage in terms of power and pace and strength against teams like this. And they were a very technical, lightweight side from what I saw. But for some reason, they were winning duels when we was going long as well. They were being a little bit more physical. They were being a bit more tough. And sometimes you can be cliche and be like, does it come down to the fact that they wanted it more? And I hate using terms like that. Do you know what I mean? Especially when you know what's the worst thing you can do, as you'll know as a professional, is when someone questions whether you wanted it as much as someone that you're playing against. Do you know what I mean? But
you know what? I think Erik Ten Hag, he's got some figuring out to do, and that's in his decision making of which players he's going to play. You can't have this playing Bruno and Xerxes. In my head, I'm thinking it's fine, it's all good, but then you need someone else on the pitch, and you can't have 12 men. You can only have 11. So if you're going to want Bruno to do that job, but now Xerxes doing it a little bit better, you got to drop one of them and put someone who's a killer in the box, because you can't have both of them on the pitch and then the ball gets up into them areas and Xerxes done the link up and now he has to get in the box, and he ain't that guy who makes driving runs. I've not seen him drive into the box going, like really want the ball in the box. But that's what Højlund is. So can we have a Højlund on the pitch that does want to go get you goals and be a devil in the box, and then that link up play, whether it's Bruno or Xerxes, like, can we have one of them playing, not both of them? But that's what I'm seeing now. I'm just thinking in my head, how can we be sharper? How can we have someone always in the box just wanting a goal? It's Højlund. He's the only guy who wants to do that. And then you've got to just choose between whoever's the best out of the rest of them. But don't be scared to not, to drop Bruno or don't play Xerxes or give them a bit of game time each. You can't just do this. And if he continues, it'll be continuing the same results. We'll be drawing and losing, and then he'll end up going. So he's got to really decide what's best for his team, not, I have to play him, I have to play him. No, you don't have to play him. Pick the right side and we will win.
Yeah, I think it does seem like the subs as well, when they're coming on, Mount barely featured. I think Højlund looked all right, but it was a couple of bobbles and didn't do a lot. Yeah. Garnacho got on the ball because that's what he does, and he looked pretty good. But the subs in the last game as well against Palace didn't make us play better. And that's
rubbish.
Definitely
it was rubbish
on the manager. But there's also an element of, is there, like, if they're the players you've got on the bench, how do you think we should be changing the full system? Like, Ronny, if you want to bring, we're not doing great in attack anymore, we're struggling to create chances, okay, here's who I've got. I've got Mount, I've got Garnacho, I've got Højlund, they're my attackers on the bench. Do you just bring one of them? Like, in your head, what is the way around that? Because if you bring all three of them on, we see what we saw tonight, which is players who want to score for themselves and not making chances.
I don't know what the obvious answer is, because and the thing is, if I know what the obvious answer is and Ten Hag doesn't, then we've got a problem. So that we'll start there. But I look at it as Ten Hag now has got to a stage where he's obviously got his ideals, he's got his philosophies, and he's got his ways. But I think it's come to a point now where he's got to look at it and be like, how can I platform my best players to do what they do best in the positions where they do it best? I think
that's what I'm saying.
That's what it needs to be now. And I think too much of it is, I think Ten Hag has a style, he has a way, and it's just, I think he's just putting players there, whether they actually have them capabilities or whether it suits them or not.
That's the problem.
And I think
has Bruno gone right?
I think that's what's massively affected us.
Just take him off.
I think there comes a point where, and you can't use he's not his players excuse, and that he's been here 3 seasons now, and there's been like nearly 13, 14 players signed underneath his tenure. So that excuse won't fly. And as you will see it, we can sit here and complain about there being scrutiny and will he not stay every time that there's a result. That is going to happen, especially after last season and going into your 3rd season at a club like Manchester United. And Ineos look to me like someone that's come in, and I don't think they're actually going to be that patient with anyone that manages us. I think they want success, and I think they want to push the club forward. It's not really the time to push the red button yet, but the longer we go without winning, and it's not even just winning, because we could have nicked that game today, but then would you look back on it and thought that was a good performance? Because what we will say is sometimes you can get performance and it masks whether you actually make it progression or not.
We've had the opposite in the last few weeks. So it's the results haven't been great, but the performances have definitely been improving. Yeah. And I think today was a step backwards, like I said at the very start. But I think if we'd have won tonight, we still wouldn't have been happy, fair enough. But then also, we didn't win against Palace and the performance was a lot better, and we didn't win against Brighton and the performance was a lot better. So it's sort of having it both ways a little bit. I'm not saying I'd rather play well and lose, because that's ridiculous. You need to play well and win, otherwise eventually the manager will get sacked. But I think if we'd not, if we'd have won tonight and we'd still been unhappy, well, fair enough. But you can't have it both ways. I do think I've got loads of chats. Obviously, a lot of people talking about Ten Hag and talking about the manager and stuff. And you know what? Like, it's not my decision whether he gets sacked or not. And the fact that I've defended him and I've backed him is nothing to do with how secure he is at Man United. So if I think and I want to look at United and I want to find the positives, or I see certain things that I think this is leading things in the right direction, I'm going to say it. It's not my choice. I'm not on the board. Yeah. My name's Joe, not Joel Glazer. Like, I don't fucking decide whether he stays or goes or not.
I don't usually react to just seeing someone there saying, "Oh, it's going to happen when." I must be talking about Ten Hag leaving. It's going to happen when you have plastic fans like Ronaldo. That's what they say. So you know what it is? I don't care. I will come here and I say exactly what I think. I say exactly what I want to say. And I think people think if you don't have this kind of like ultimate rose-tinted glasses look on things, happy-go-lucky, positive no matter what, then you're a plastic fan. You're not allowed to quantify what's a good fan and what's not. There's not one stream way. There's not one stream way to fan them.
In your defence, there's a lot more people saying that they weren't happy than there are having a go at you for being a little bit disappointed.
No, but I just think I get wound up when we have United wind me up when they don't play well or when they don't win games. So I feel like when I see stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. AJ Big Drip with a super chat. Yeah. Hello, AJ Big Drip.
You're laughing, Ethan, yeah?
It's a great name. And he says, Joe blowing smoke up Ten Hag's arse after every bad performance, treating Ten Hag like a man baby. It's embarrassing. You're constantly going about these fugazi positives after every poor performance. Weird. Okay, thank you.
But this is the thing. All I'm going to say, unless you want to answer to that,
no, I don't think I've blown any smoke up his arse tonight. I think United haven't been very good. Yeah,
you know what? It's the problem with me that I'm looking at now. The more I'm thinking about it, it's like you you bring on players, just play them in their position. Yeah. Like take off Bruno and put Mount in the Bruno position.
Yeah.
Don't put Bruno on the right. Might as well bring on Anthony if you're going to bring on someone. Just a right winger for a right winger. Put on a left winger for a left winger. A central attacking midfielder for a central attacking midfielder. Like he brought on Mainu for Eriksen. That's normal. What you're supposed to see. But you only usually bring on players and put them out of position, and you don't have a player for that position. So as much as I don't even like Anthony that much, I'd rather he went on the right and came on in his position than Bruno go on the right instead of, I can't take him off.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to talk about
if he's not playing well, he should come off.
Yeah,
and also, if all these changes, you bring 4 players on, 3 players on, change the full front 3 2 weeks in a row, or most of the front 3 2 weeks, like, and everything changes and we're not making a chance anymore. Maybe you don't have to make 4 subs. Maybe you make it in a different area. Maybe yeah, exactly. A couple more super chats. Trond, who's been a member for 44 months, thank you, says, why do we accept this? Ten Hag is out of his depth and needs to go. He is shit in all aspects of the game. Ole was way better. I just hate this team. Having a tough night, Trond.
It hurts.
I mean, Ole was way better. Ole, I had some fantastic times watching Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think he gets a lot more stick than he deserves. So I agree with that part of it. But I think Ole being way better is a bit of a leap in terms of trophies and sort of success overall. But yeah, I'm not happy with what's going on. Jesus Christ says, our fans are so reactionary. We're becoming the new Arsenal fans. We've played well enough to beat Brighton, Palace and Twente. Just chill. It's September. It is September. And we're right to point out problems when they're there. But also, we can have differences of opinion as well. I think that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything. And the difference in opinion is the exciting thing. I do think, though, good or bad, this sort of massive overreaction after every result, like Ronnie said, it's silly. You're gonna get it because there's so many United fans. There's hundreds of millions of us. People are gonna have a varying range of responses. But I do genuinely think that, like, this is the season, innit? Ten Hag doesn't get another shit year.
Yeah.
So if you're sick of him and you want him to go, you're going to find out this year. You don't need to wait till 2025, 26. If it's not good enough by January, he's probably gone.
Yeah.
So
100%.
There's not too long to wait either way. And if we turn it around and if we start pushing for top 4 and we stay in trophies and we start doing well and these sort of, not tonight, but maybe the Palace performance turns into a win like it should have been, then maybe you'll get to be happy because we're winning games. You're not guaranteed to sit in misery, or you're guaranteed to not be sat in misery for another 18 months because someone else will come in before that, so don't worry. Jesus Christ says, people who want results, we have 2 trophies and 3 finals in 2 years. For style of play merchants, we clearly have one that's starting to work. Get a grip.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is true, but it's just that we're missing the attacking. We're missing the attacking part so far. So you don't think we're playing better football?
Nah.
Keeping the ball, moving it a bit faster?
I think you've seen bits of it, yeah, I agree to an extent, but it's not like just completely one way or the other. It's like somewhere maybe in the middle, but that whole 3 finals.
No, yeah. That's going too far.
The way managers are judged. The way managers are judged is where you finish in the league and your league performance. It's not about cup runs.
Well, forget tonight.
I'm sorry.
Basically won. Erik ten Hag.
I'm sorry to tell people.
Or is it just the Europa League? Erik ten Hag said we had to go for the second goal, then we get punished. We kept them alive at 1-0 up, controlling the game. You have to keep going, but we dropped a level and gave a goal away. We have seen some good structures again, but we need consistency. You have to keep going the whole game. We definitely do have to keep going the whole game because glimpses and moments and half an hours and halves here isn't enough, and that's a big step United need to take. And also, putting the fucking ball in the back of the net.
That's the main thing.
It's the simplest part of football, and it's the hardest part. Like you said, Ronnie, at times we have to question the fact that we're averaging like 60 goals a season under Ten Hag. It's not good enough. No. And is there structural issues there? Maybe there are. But when you're making lots of chances, it's hard for me to blame the finishing on the manager.
It isn't now,
19, 20 shots, 23, 25 shots. Like, I get that if we aren't consistently scoring goals over seasons, I'm not taking it all off the manager by any means. But if you're missing loads of chances, Ten Hag can't fucking nod them in for you.
Yeah, he can't.
Anyway, Discombobulate says Spurs, Porto and Villa next 3 games. Crunch time. God, that's going to be horrible, isn't it? We're in for a horrible 2 weeks, folks. This is going to be rough. We'll lose all 3 of them and then we'll get a new manager by the end of October.
Porto next in the Europa League. Is that away as well?
It probably will be, yeah.
Lord.
Good stuff.
Be tough, I'm telling you.
The same Porto that beat Thingy at home last year in the Champions League, Arsenal.
They're a good side, Porto.
Good side. They've started all right.
They lost
tonight.
Yeah.
Got to get some goals. That's it.
Yes. Right. Before we
they're
get
better than FC Twente is my point.
Before we unravel too much, let's call it a day there.
Yeah.
It's been an exciting one. Thank you, Ronnie. I enjoy always our conversations. And Nathan, great to get you back on the channel. Obviously, we'll be seeing more of you soon as well.
I like these with Nathan on it.
Yeah, good stuff. Always good to get your insight. Nice. Someone who actually has walked the walk rather than just talking the talk that I do.
When Ethan was like, Nathan's on it, I was like,
Good stuff. Right, cheers everyone. Manchester United won, FC 21. Not a great start, but as long as we're in the top 24 by the end of the
that's all that matters.
Top 20.
That's all that matters.
Point game.
I'll take 24th now, mate. Right, we'll see you in a bit.